Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel for the Bravo Breakdown with Joleen. That's me, stand-up comedian and Bravo superfan Joleen Lunzer here to break it all down for you. Today, we have a very special guest I'll be bringing up shortly. But first, you guys, make sure you smash that like. Let's see if we can hit at least 100 likes while we're live if we haven't already hit that, because you guys have been killing it with the likes. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. We're on our way to 36,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. And if you want to support the channel further than liking or subscribing, you can always send a super chat while we're live. I'll highlight your comment. You can send a super thanks after the video posts, or you can hit me up on the Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, and then I have my Patreon, YouTube memberships. You guys know the drill. Miss Diamond says I'm like number 27. All right, let's keep the likes going. Yes, yes, yes. We have Zachary Reality here today. I'm going to bring him up later today. We're going to have Ryan Bailey. And then tonight we have a Big Brother live stream. If you guys follow me for Big Brother as well. Joleen, will you ever go to BravoCon? Yes, I wanted to go this year. I had my manager working on it, and then I think I kind of dropped the ball with that. But next year I said, I'm going. But today we have the wonderful blogger, amazing. He's been on the channel before. We love him. And if you guys don't follow him, I made it really easy. If you're not subscribed already to his channel, I tagged him in the title. You can just click on his tag and subscribe to his YouTube channel, but you can find him on TikTok, Instagram. He is killing it in so many of the reality TV worlds, including Bachelor Nation and Love is Blind, and he's just everywhere. So he was at BravoCon, and we're going to talk all about his experience. So you guys, welcome Zachary Reality back to the channel.
Hey. Yeah, thank you for having me back. I'm so excited to talk about BravoCon because it's been 2 days since I've been back, but yesterday I was sleeping the whole day because I was recovering. So now I feel like I'm finally able to speak about it. It was crazy.
Yeah. It looked crazy. Like I was living vicariously through you guys on Instagram because so many of you were like posting live videos and, just also, so we're, was Bravo and Peacock. So I was kind of watching the panels.
The live
so
streams.
yeah, the live streams and stuff. So was this your first BravoCon, or you've been to BravoCon before?
I went last year in New York. So this is my second BravoCon.
Oh, so which one did you like better, New York or Vegas?
I think there's such different experiences because it's such different cities. So it's hard to say like which I liked more, but I thought this weekend in Vegas worked out really well. There was less people. I felt like it was easier to get seated at the panels because during last year's New York, the lines were so long and then it was like stampedes, everyone running in. So it was just more organized this year. And it was just more, I don't know, it just felt like there was more of a schedule. I was able to get everywhere I needed to go.
See, I heard that from a lot of people, and I think it's their second year, so they learned a lot from the first year. And when you're in Vegas, Vegas is known for hosting big conventions and stuff, so they're good at it. They can do the damn thing. So,
and
okay,
there was
so
less
you went.
people.
Oh yeah, that like less people at the whole BravoCon.
Yeah, less. Yeah, and I don't know if that's because more people live in New York that would go to BravoCon, and less people want to pay to fly to Vegas. But there was like, I think Andy said like 8,500 people, which is a lot less than last year. So it really worked out great. And there was less panels and the photo ops as well. Last year, there was like crazy long lines. And this year they had it more organic because they had rooms for, and then like certain Bravo celebrities would go in the rooms for a certain amount of time. So you could just kind of mingle with them versus waiting on like an hour line just for a 30-second interaction.
Yeah, last year I remember watching vicariously last year too, and the lines were insane and people were getting pissed.
Yeah. So this year nobody was pissed. I felt like I had such a good time. I don't know why I was like nervous going into it that I wasn't going to have fun for some reason. I was just like, this is going to be overwhelming. I feel like I'm going to have to like do all these things. And then this year I didn't post as much content as I did last year. And I really just tried to live in the moment and have fun with my friends. And I love
that. Speaking of friends, so Zach is besties with Allie Luber, who is on Vanderpump Rules now, dating James Kennedy. Last season was her first season, and she became like a breakout star. Everybody ended up loving Allie, and you and I talked early on. Now, Can
I
you
told you
give
everyone
me
was
like,
gonna like her.
I know you were right. Can you give me an update? Like, how is Allie dealing with now being, because now she's considered what, a full-time cast member on
No,
Vanderpump?
she didn't. She's not full time, so she won't be in the intro, which was so sad. I wanted to
Oh,
see
she
her
deserves
spin,
it.
but
Yes.
she was on the Vanderpump panel, so that was really fun to watch her on stage. And then she also did a separate live stage thing with Louis and Teresa. So it was James, Allie, Louis, and Teresa. So that was like so much fun because Teresa's my favorite housewife of all time. So to see the four of them together, I was like, are you kidding? So I know she did that, and then she had a lot of fans coming up to her at her photo ops. I was at one of her photo ops. So she had a really great time. She was a natural, and she slayed.
Oh. Get it, Allie. I love to see it. I saw your pictures. I also saw your picture with Teresa.
The
Now,
queen.
I know. Were you at that panel when that
Mhm.
woman
Yeah,
called
yeah,
out Jen? What? Okay, so if
yeah.
you guys didn't know, there was a woman. There was a lot of shady questions this year. I was here for it. It was funny, but not all the housewives were here for it. Kyle Richards got a shady question about Teddy from
Mm,
the
yeah.
hilarious Aaron Diane Rogers. Is that his name? I forget. I followed him. I
Oh,
think
I
he's
didn't know
on.
he was a blogger when he asked that question.
Yeah,
But
he's
I
like
saw him. I was like, you did that was amazing. Great question.
it was such a good question. Amazing. Shout out to him. And Teresa's question, you guys, there was a woman who popped up and or she asked Jennifer, what was it, like, what's it like being so far up
So far.
Teresa's ass?
Yeah, we were front row for that one, and that was the last panel of the weekend, so it was Sunday at, like, 4:30, so it was the grand finale,
Oh my
honestly, because
God.
I drove back with my friend Jack, like, an hour after that panel ended, so it truly was the end of BravoCon, so it was perfect, but that yes, somebody asked, like, "Why are you so far up Teresa's ass?" And Jennifer got really offended, which I understand because it is, like, you're not there to be a hater, but Jennifer kinda took it a little too far, in my opinion, like, puffing and getting up, but it was a great way to end it and the con.
It was totally very entertaining. Questionable Mark. Thank you so much. Sorry. Alexander Rogers, Alexander Diane Rogers. And he is
Mhm,
hilarious. You guys can find him on YouTube and Instagram. So go show him some
okay,
love for that amazing freaking question. Okay.
mhm.
Uh, I agree with you, Zach. I thought that Jennifer was doing too much. Like she could have had fun with that when she stood up and then she said big boy. And so now everyone's on her about misgendering and stuff. It's like you didn't need all that. And then with Teresa, I'm like, Teresa, just sit down. Jen's embarrassing herself. Don't embarrass yourself too.
But Jen told Teresa, she's like, "Teresa, you see this?" And Teresa, she wants to be a loyal friend to
Oh,
Jen because Jen is such a loyal friend to her. So then the two of them get up. They're like, I'm like, they're gonna fight this girl. Like they're puffing and they're ready to
they
fight.
were.
It was
They were gonna throw down.
insanity.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
were you near that woman when she was done asking her questions? Were people like high fiving her or what?
I kind of felt bad. I didn't know if she was scared because she kind of like walked away, started walking back, and then the camera
Yeah.
followed her. I was like here, and then she was back there. So I was kind of watching it. I saw the whole thing go down. It was in the moment, it was just crazy. But that was like a really interesting panel, I think, just because there was so many layers with having Jackie there. It was just so mind blowing and
Right.
shocking when they announced that Jackie and Danielle were switching sides a week before. So I will tell you this: I saw Danielle at her booth. And I don't wait online for these booths. I just go, I'm like, I just try
I
and say
love it.
hello from afar. I don't need a picture with everyone. So I said to Danielle, I was like, why did you switch sides? And Danielle was like, I didn't. And that was it. Then I walked away because that was it. So I
Oh
don't
my,
really, I think
I love
the issue might just be between Danielle and Jennifer. I don't think Danielle has issues with Teresa, but then Jackie, she definitely has an issue with Margaret, and she might not be
it.
as close to
Mhm.
Melissa anymore, but she was seated next to Melissa at the Bravos Friday night, which was the award show. So I
She
think she's kind of,
was.
yeah, so I think she's like chill with Melissa, and it's just really interesting dynamics in Jersey. So I just can't wait for the season. We saw one clip, we saw one preview of Rachel Fuda yelling at Teresa, and then John Fuda calling Teresa a has been. I'm like, a has been? Your wife is a never was. So
I
why are they
mean,
attacking her? So it's interesting. Teresa and Melissa did not interact all weekend. They didn't even mention each other's name during press interviews. They were just like, that chapter's closed, that chapter's closed. So I'm all in for Jersey. I can't wait for the new season.
it is so interesting because now this is 2 years in a row where they've had to divide the cast on panels. And I don't think there's been any other cast they've had to do that for at BravoCon.
I also think it probably has something to do with the husbands. There's so many of them. If the husbands
Right.
were on a
Mhm.
panel, then that's like 14 people on a panel. You go to these regular housewife panels, there's only 5, 6, maybe 7. So I think it's
Yep.
kind of more also with that.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's sad. I was kind of sad to hear that Jackie and Margaret and Melissa might have fallen out. I mean, Zach, you're saying you saw Jackie and Melissa sitting by each other, but I know Jackie
Mhm.
started a podcast with the
Jen
other
Fessler.
Jen Fessler. They started a
Mhm.
podcast. So I wonder if that's going to be any good. They're both good talkers. So
I don't know. Does everyone need a podcast? I'll give it a listen, especially when
well,
Jersey comes back if they're going to recap episodes.
that's kind of, don't you feel that way now? Now we can get, we can get serious. I kind of feel this way with, I cover Big Brother too. I feel like with these reality stars, that's what we do. We do this. Me, Zach, other people. You guys just
Mhm.
be on the show. We don't need to hear everything. There's certain people, yes, it's very interesting. But now, just like you're saying, it feels like everybody's got a damn podcast.
Yeah. Which is, everybody wants to make their money. I mean, everybody wants to talk.
Yeah.
Everybody wants an opportunity to just share more about their lives and their side. When you have a following, I understand why you start a podcast or start a YouTube channel. It's just a way for
Yep.
people to get to know you better, especially if you're on TV and there's like an edited version. So
Mhm.
we'll see how long it lasts, right? But iHeart is a big
Yeah.
network. So when you have a network and producers, it's a lot easier to kind of keep up with your podcast when sometimes you
Oh
don't
my
necessarily
God.
have to do much besides show up. Are you doing the editing, the social media? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's my goal one day, is that I'll just have everyone do everything and I just show up. So far, I'm very far from that.
Yes.
But
That's always the goal, because people are
right?
asking Allie and whoever, like, how are you doing BravoCon? And it's just like, well, it's kind of easy when they have a person like telling them where they need to be at what time. They have car service,
Mhm.
they have food ready for them. So when you're the talent, it is hard, but then it's also easy in some ways because people are doing everything for you and you're just there.
Yeah, you're just showing up. You're the face,
Mhm.
and you got all the people
I'm
that
the
are doing
face.
stuff behind the scenes. Speaking
Mhm.
of Vanderpump, so there was some Vanderpump drama. Did you, Zach, end up at any Tom Sandoval parties in his suite?
No.
No. Would you?
I mean, I'm not really friends with him at all, so probably not.
Mhm.
But I'm also just like, if I'm drunk in Vegas and I'm going with the wind, I'm not opposed to ending up anywhere, honestly, like literally
Yeah.
anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's kind of true about Vegas. That's the beauty of it, because you'll just end
Yeah.
up anywhere. Now there was the drama of Sheena they thought it was Lala, and then it was
But it's like
Sheena.
Lala doesn't go out late. Lala is sober. I saw
Yes.
Lala's assistant at the gay bar, who's amazing, Jessica. She's like her podcast co-host. I'm like,
Oh
she's
yeah.
not going to be there because Lala goes to sleep early, so she definitely wasn't in the suite.
Yeah, that's why Lala had to check James, and I know that you're good friends with James. So what do you
Mhm.
think, why do you think James called her out in such a public way? In my opinion, it's kind of, that's what James does. It's kind of messy. He knows how to keep it interesting, but do you have any inside scoop of why he called her out? I also have a theory, and you don't have to answer. I
Oh, I
think
mean,
there's
I
a
don't.
little bit of drama between her close friendship with that Logan, who he used to be friends with, because he mentioned Logan and said, "Oh, well, you're always with that husband of yours." And so I think he's a little
Um,
salty. What do you think?
I don't know. Logan was in the suite with us at James's show Saturday. He was in James's DJ booth. So, I mean, I don't think Logan and James have any issues at all. So, I don't know. I think James was just asking. He was just asking a question. I think they're there on the panel to entertain and get the tea. And
Yeah.
Lala, let him know that she wasn't there and just answered his questions. I think they have to make a show when they're on stage. It's part of
Yeah.
the bit. And James is really good at keeping us entertained and on our toes.
I mean, I appreciate it because I was definitely entertained, but it was just a very interesting time when he brought it up, because they had been talking about like the women empowerment on the show. And then he's like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
Lala, weren't you in Sandoval's suite? And it's interesting too, because there's two Logans on the show. There's blonde Logan, who works at TomTom, who's really good friends with
Mhm.
Ariana. And then there's
Yes.
the All About the Pasta Logan. And so I know, I get vibes that like James doesn't again, like I don't know James, but that he doesn't really enjoy him very much. So that was the vibes I was getting.
Well, maybe we'll see next season if the
I
Logans
know.
are on it.
They need a Logan show. Logan and Logan.
Yes.
So did you hang out with any of the Vander kids besides Allie, James?
I saw Lala for a minute because she did a photo op with Allie and James. So there was like a room
Mhm.
that they were in for like an hour and a half. And So I was in there, which was great because there's like little appetizers and drinks. So I said hi to Lala really quick, but I don't think I saw any. And Schwartz, Schwartz was at James's show Saturday night, so we got to hang out for a little bit. And Jax was there too Saturday night. So that was really fun to hang out with them. And then there was also some people from The Bachelor at James's show, and I love The Bachelor, so it was cool to see some of those guys and just see the vibes. So James's show was like separate than like BravoCon After Dark, which is where some other people went, which I guess where a lot of the Bravo celebrities went. But to go there was like $500 for a BravoCon After Dark ticket. So, I mean, that was another. I mean, I was going to go to James's show regardless, but there was just so many events and so many parties, and you couldn't be everywhere at once.
Yeah, so much is happening. Now, speaking of Jax, it looked like his new bar opened. Jax, I don't know if you've been there.
Yeah, I went once.
So on Halloween, it looked like Sandoval and Schwartz were there. Did you see them at all? Are they like friendly now? Or because I know he was very anti-Sandoval, but maybe not anymore.
Well, I saw Jax say on Heather McDonald's podcast that he just is indifferent with Sandoval, so he just doesn't mind him. So I know him and Schwartz are really close friends because they were together, you know, during this weekend, and they left together. So I don't think they're friends, but I think that, you know, after a while, especially if they known each other 20 years, you might as well just be cordial.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, I think that, you know, with Jax coming back into like the reality TV world, I mean, he has to coexist with him. And
yeah, did you see House of Villains?
I have been watching House of Villains. I'm behind like an episode or so, but it's so good.
I'm behind an episode too because I was in Vegas Thursday, but I've been watching it and I'm really into it. I love competition shows. Those are my favorite types of shows.
You watch Big Brother ever?
I've seen it over the years a little bit, but I think it's just on way too many nights a week.
Yeah.
It's like,
and it's like 100 days long, the show.
Yeah, it's like 4. I'm like, it's still going on. So I just can't really watch that one, but I'm really into House of Villains because I love like the characters and I love the competition. So I'm excited to see who wins that. And I think my guess is Omarosa or maybe Tanisha.
Yeah, Tanisha's great. Omarosa, yeah, she's a boss. And Tiffany Pollard, obviously New York, when she called out Omarosa, that read on Omarosa, her being like Republican, see you next Tuesday, something, I was like, oh my God, like that is why Tiffany is.
Tuesday.
I know, they'll see you next Tuesday with James Kennedy.
Well,
not the fun one.
Well, I won't spoil last episode for you because you didn't see it, but
I didn't see it.
Okay, do you know who went home?
No.
Okay, then I won't say.
I'm assuming it's probably New York. Is it?
Do you want me to tell you? I don't care. I didn't watch it. I saw online.
Okay, spoil it for me. Who went home?
It was Tiffany.
New York. No, I've been wanting her to come back to Celebrity Big Brother because she was so good. She was in the UK version and she was so good.
She's funny. She's good TV. But on House of Villains, everyone was saying that she wouldn't leave her room unless they made her leave her room to like film something. So it's just like, you don't want to keep someone in the house that just like doesn't want to be there.
Yeah. But she gives so many great TV moments. It's like she knows what she has to do, but she also hates all of those people.
I don't like to watch people who aren't competitors. You know, this is a game about competition. Yeah. If you're not going to compete and try, then I don't want to see you on the show.
Oh, then I can ask you, yes, Tammy, you're correct. Jax bombed on House of Villains. Like even the Love is Blind guy, I forget what's his name.
Shake.
Even Shake, he made Shake kind of look okay. And I was kind of like, yeah, get him Shake because the like bragging about the money and the I'm gonna beat you up. It's like it's a little too bored. You're like 40 something. You can't be beating people up.
Well, it was a little confusing with the whole I need the money for my family. Here's how you make brand deals. But Jax was saying on Heather's podcast that he was trying to give Shake tips and advice on how to monetize his reality TV platform. So, I mean,
Jax, nobody. They don't need that. He doesn't need that. He's doing just fine. I know Jax. He has to find a way he can help or whatever.
But he'll be on. I guess they're gonna do another Vanderpump show with Jax, like the spinoff thing. So, like, I don't know too much about that, but I wonder if maybe early next year we'll hear more about it.
Early next year, we have so many good shows coming with Vanderpump coming back. I am so excited. Now, I have to ask you, speaking of House of Villains, the girl that was on it from The Bachelor, I don't know anything about her. Was she like a Bachelor Nation fave? Like, what's her story?
Yeah, she was probably she was the first Bachelor Nation villain that was likable and lovable. Because there used to be on The Bachelor, like, you would hate the villain. You would love to hate them. But with Corinne, she kind of really merged that and became so comical that it was just very, very iconic. So I know that for House of Villains, they were trying to find one person from each franchise, like from one person from The Bachelor, one person from Survivor, one person from Love is Blind. So with Corinne, I think she was a really good representation of when Bachelor was more popular a few years back. So more people know her, and she's still pretty relevant. So I think she was a great choice for it.
You know what I think? I wanted to like. Well, I mean, the show's not over yet. I wanted to like her and invest in her, but I feel as though she's almost overshadowed by the personalities. They're like her personality doesn't even seem big enough for these personalities, and then I feel as though she's not holding her own. Are you getting that vibe?
She's not gonna be able to win. I mean, she's very sensitive and she isn't necessarily super strategic. She's kind of like clinging at some of the guys. But I mean, of course she's gonna be overshadowed in a room with Omarosa and Tanisha and Johnny Bananas. Like, think about Anfisa. Like, she can't even get a word in either. Not that she wants to, because it seems like she's really low key as well. Maybe she'll sneak up on them at the end. But that's what happens when you're in a house with these villains. And I was talking to a few people about a season 2 that could potentially be on the horizon, depending on how this season goes. And I mean, I want to see Raquel on it. I want to see Christine Quinn. I want to see Lisa Rinna, Russell Hantz. I'm sure you can name a couple people from Big Brother. Like, there is a lot of potential for House of Villains to continue.
What a great concept for a television show. I love that. Yeah, I hope that they keep pulling from these different reality shows. Girl, let's agree to disagree. Jess, who's actually was on Big Brother, shout out to Jessica Milagros in the chat, saying Corinne is insanely delusional on how many people she thinks love her in comparison to others. Oh, a little bit. I love it. Just with the read down of Corinne. I just didn't know anything about her, but I think she definitely is. She comes off more sensitive on the show. And again, she's dealing with like reality TV veterans. Like, they got the game down of how to be on television and also how to be on competitive, not for like dating, but for like actual money.
Yeah, there was a conversation because I actually worked the press junket. So I got to interview the whole cast of House of Villains, which was amazing.
But there was a big conversation to interview.
Omarosa. She was my favorite. But there was this big conversation about people who have been on competition shows versus people who have been on dating shows or like docu shows like Jax, Shake, Corinne. They had a disadvantage coming into this because they weren't used to the competitive environment. And one of the things that Johnny Fairplay was saying and Omarosa was saying is that when you're on a show like this, you need to make an alliance immediately. You need to start playing the game immediately. Don't pick your rooms. Don't be like, go right for it. So they do have a disadvantage, which is why I think somebody from a previous competition show will know how to win the game in the end. But we'll see how the rules go. I couldn't get anything out of them. I'm like, is there going to be a jury at the end, a final challenge? Nobody wants to tell me that. So I don't know how it will play out at the end.
Yeah, it is still a little confusing. I mean, it's the first season. We'll see how it plays out. But we saw that also with the challenge when they started incorporating, like the challenge on CBS, when they started incorporating like what did they do? Like Love Island people. It's almost like in a lot of ways they were out of their element because they're going against Survivor All-Stars, Big Brother, The Amazing Race, people who are used to competing. And then you just have the Love Islands and you're like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Their date. I mean, crossover reality TV, this is a new era. Like we've been watching reality TV forever, right? Like the past 2 to 3 years, crossovers have been everywhere. Now we have a new season of Traitors coming up. Like, I'm so into crossover shows. I think it's amazing.
Are you into Traitors?
Oh, very into Traitors. I'm excited to see. I know. Somebody asked Larsa, they're like, how was it filming Traitors? And she was saying how wild it was. And Marcus was on that show with her as well. So I'm sure they're going to be a threat.
Yes, they have a couple on there. I think they're the only couple on there, but there's so many great in our Big Brother world that I cover. We have Dan and Janelle, and then in the Survivor world, you have Sandra and Parvati. And I saw that, Tamra Judge from the Big Brother world, and it looks like Tamra was partnering up with Dan Giesling, who's a Big Brother superstar, and Janelle, who is a Big Brother superstar as well. And they made quite the friendship on that show. So I'm interested to see these different alliances from the Bravoverse, the CBS competition world. Is there a Bachelor Nation person? There is, right? On the show?
Peter, Pilot Pete.
Oh, see, I don't know him. Is he fun?
He's iconic. Oh my God. His season was crazy because he got engaged to Hannah Ann, and then by the reunion, he already broke up with her and started dating his runner-up, Maddie. And then after a
What?
few weeks, yeah, and then after a few weeks, him and Maddie broke up, and then he started dating Kelly, who was like number 7 or 8 on his season. And then him and Kelly broke up, and then they got back together a year later, and then they broke up again. So, and his mom was insane. So there's a lot going on with Peter. I will say I did like last year with Traders how there was 10 reality stars and 10
Real
rookies.
people.
And I feel like it might be a little too overwhelming with 20 of them at once. I kind of like the 10 and 10 dynamic.
I could see how like that at first was appealing to me, but then watching the real people get just railroaded because they're going up against Sari Fields, who is in this season of Big Brother. She's the first
I know
Survivor
that.
crossover.
She's still
And
there?
no, but she made it
Oh,
almost to Final 4. She got evicted at Final 5.
so there's how many
I
people are
know.
left on Big Brother? Just 3?
3. So we have an episode tonight and then a 2-hour finale on Thursday. And it's between
Okay.
this lady, Bowie Jane. She's Australian. And then there's Jag and what's his name? Matt. And nobody likes the final 3. So
Who do you want to win?
none of them. Still want Suri. At this point, I'm at that point with the show. It's been on so long and I watch the live feeds and do all that. I don't care. I
You
think
just
it'd
want
be
it to be
funny
over
if,
for your sanity.
yeah,
I feel
exactly.
that.
And Julie Chen said we're probably going to get some kind of winter, not a celebrity season, but maybe like a legends season. So I'm excited for
Oh,
that. I'm already, my brain's
okay.
already there, you know, because like you said,
Yeah.
it's such a long freaking season. It's just
We're
like,
in the home stretch of some of our competition shows, November 7th. I know I'm watching Golden Bachelor, and there's only 3 women left. So I'm
oh
excited
my
to see how
God.
that ends. Dancing with the Stars, I'm watching. I'm watching
You
Bachelor in
were there
Paradise.
watching
I
Ariana?
went, yes,
It was
I
so
went
fun.
last 2 weeks ago. It was so much fun to be at Dancing with the Stars, like right there and see all of
Oh,
it.
I love it. Well, my husband's in the chat. I just highlighted his comment. He said, "These hosts look great. Thank you, hype man husband Chell. We appreciate it." Yeah, Ariana is so good. Like she. I heard her saying in an interview that she could do this the rest of her life, just be on tour dancing. And I almost wish that would happen for her. That would be an amazing career.
I'm happy that she's doing it right now because I feel like it's a good distraction. It's making her money, keeping her busy. Because I feel bad for her. Her life is on hold with this ex of hers that she can't figure out, how to sell the house or how that's going to work financially. Her sandwich shop is on hold with all these annoying, stupid permits. They thought it was going to
Yeah.
open months ago. I'm waiting for a sandwich. So I just feel like this is a great show for her where she can really put her all into it so that she is not thinking about these 2 things that are hovering over her and kind of like holding her back. I'm frustrated for her that she has these 2 things that she needs to resolve. So I just really hope that for her, and I'm rooting for her. And I really think sometimes people were insensitive to her, like still, like even at BravoCon, like even some of these people who are giving Tom Sandoval grace, it's just like,
Oh,
Ariana has been through so much. It's just like, we just got to keep supporting her. And same with Kyle Richards. It's like, they're too invasive with these questions for Kyle and Ariana. It's just like, we just got to keep supporting these 2 women and a few other people on Bravo who have just been through way too much this year.
I agree. I feel like there's grace. There's this whole campaign to give grace to Sandoval, but yet that's never existed for Rachel. And we know that that is how it works for women, especially in these cheating scandals. And what I like what Rachel did, which is that she kind of went away. And so I loved that guy's question at BravoCon when he said, "Why did you come? Why don't you disappear for a little bit?" And when Lisa, Vanderpump wants to say, "Oh, Sandoval lost this, that." Did he? He's been on more television shows than he ever has. And he started a podcast, which is not good. I'll save you. You don't have to watch it. It's very bad. I roast and recap it, Zach. It's so bad. And then he also is in a band touring and he can't sing. So he's got all the privilege and opportunity while I think Rachel is shown little grace. And to see, I mean, were you surprised to see even Lala show him grace at BravoCon?
A little bit, but I also think they got it out. They screamed at him. What else is there left to say? Like, why kick someone while they're down? Why insult someone for no reason? Like, I feel like they got all their aggression out that now it seems like a lot of the cast is just really indifferent with him and is just fine with
Yeah.
coexisting and just kind of ignoring him. So I kind of liked the approach that Lala took. And I understand that he wants to face it and stay on TV and make money. So, I don't know what's going on with the bar and how much of an investment that was for him. I know he's on Special Forces. Is he's still
Yeah.
on that? I wonder who's going to win that show.
I think so. I actually watched quite a few episodes. I was like, oh, this show's kind of good. And I did like how they were very, I don't know what they call themselves, not the special agents. They have they have a name for
The
the like
military
military
people.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're badasses. And they were like, you're not a victim. They kept having to remind him because he has this horrible tendency of making himself the victim, and he sounds ridiculous rather than just owning it, putting your head down, getting the shit done. He just is, he can't do
He's like,
it.
why me? Why did this happen to me?
Yes.
You did it to yourself. I guess he was just used to
Yes.
riding this high for so many years that he's just not used to falling. And I will say about Carl Radke on Summer House, you know, he's kind of been painted in a similar light where it seemed like he broke Lindsay's heart. He called off the wedding and he just completely blindsided her. But I saw the Summer House panel and I saw Carl answering questions, and Carl was humble. Carl was respectful to Lindsay. He didn't say one bad thing about her. He said that this was the best decision for both of them moving forward. And he just took a really mature approach. And it's just a
Yes.
complete 180 from Sandoval, who's just so immature and can't take accountability and is moping and sad and acts like a child, where it's
Yes.
like Carl, you know, maybe he did screw over Lindsay, but at least he's still has respect for her. Like, at least he's trying to still respect her and be nice to her, where
Mhm.
Sandoval has said so many negative things about Ariana at the reunion and in the press, where it's just like, how could you talk to her about that? What did she do to you? It's what you did to her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he said her and her stank face. It's like he keeps on, you know, going at her, even, you know, doing press at BravoCon. And I'm like, sir, you're not doing yourself any favors. And I agree with you. I think Carl is handling it a million times better. I also think
Mhm.
with the whole Carl and Lindsay thing, it doesn't surprise me because he is newly into sobriety. And I myself
Mhm.
am a sober person for 11 years. And one of the things you're not supposed to do is really get into a serious relationship kind of early in sobriety. And
Oh.
I think, just in my opinion, which it depends who he picks in the future, I think he needs a sober person. I just do. I think
Yeah.
Lindsay is just, she just parties too much, and that's fine for her, but it's not going to be good for his situation. I look at it like myself, like my husband maybe drinks once a year. Otherwise,
Mhm.
so it makes it a lot easier for me because my lifestyle changed, just like Lala when I got sober. I used to be the party, and now I can still have fun, but I want to go home and go to bed because if I'm not drunk, what am I still doing here?
Mhm.
It's not as fun.
Yeah. I can understand that. I
So,
mean, James is sober, and Allie, she doesn't really drink that much. You know, she
mhm.
does a lot of sober nights as well. So I can totally kind of understand that as well.
Yeah, and not everyone who's sober has to be with a sober person, but I think with Carl's history and the loss of his brother and stuff, he really needs that kind of sober support that I think Lindsay tried to give him, but unless, you know, she was going to stay sober, because I saw that on, maybe it was Summer House, you know, because I hated what went on with her and Danielle. I don't know if you watch the show really
Yeah, of
closely, but
course.
their
I love Summer
friendship. Oh,
House.
oh, it's so good. And I hated that their friendship was so at odds. So it's nice to see them come back together again. But
Mhm.
you know, she tried to stay sober and then sometimes would go out and drink. And I'm like, that must be hard for Carl because it's still somewhat new, you know?
Yeah. It's also like for
So
Lindsay, it's like she doesn't wanna not be able to go out and drink and stuff. So there is
yeah.
compromise in every
Yep.
relationship, but it didn't end up working out for them. Lindsay did have a few digs throughout the weekend. Just I think she's just
Mhm.
really upset that she had her bridal shower. She picked out a wedding dress. You know, she was a month
He
away
shouldn't
from the
have
wedding.
waited that long.
Yeah. And then the whole thing about him breaking up with her on camera is what's interesting because they were already down from filming. So she just keeps on saying that. But then Carl, I also heard him say that he didn't orchestrate what, you
Yeah.
know, he has his own story that he has not told yet. Lindsay she did an exclusive with Us Weekly. She's going to be on the Vile Files this week. She's talked a lot about it in the press. Carl has not shared his full side of the story yet. So I think a lot of fans are anticipating to hear his full side because we're only getting snippets of it. And even at BravoCon, it was very hush hush on what they could say, which is so interesting
Mm.
about BravoCon is that there's so much they can't say, but then there's so much you can just observe by seeing them live on the panels. The one panel they didn't have this year was Salt Lake City because they're filming their reunion in a couple weeks. So they just decided to scratch a Salt Lake
Oh,
panel overall, which I was a little disappointed about.
me too. What about Monica? Was she there? Because I didn't see her in any of the pictures with the Salt Lake
She
City
was there.
ladies.
I guess she wasn't
Is
hanging out
she
with them. I didn't meet
What the heck
Monica.
happened?
I met Meredith Marks, who I've actually known for a while, so I always see her and say hello. I love Meredith. I got to talk to Lisa Barlow for a little bit. I love her.
Baby
We ran
gorgeous?
into her. Yeah, we ran into her in the well, like in the Aria, like by when she was trying to get a car. Like so, we got to talk to her for like 5 minutes, which was
Oh,
so much cool. I love Lisa Barlow, and
me too.
then I guess those are the only Salt Lake City housewives I talked to. I said hi to Brooks, Whitney. I didn't get to meet Heather 2 years in a row. I still have not met Heather at BravoCon.
Oh my
Maybe next
gosh,
year.
you'd think Heather would be like out at all the parties. If you meet her, find out about the black eye for sure. Was it just the
Well, they said
Botox
it's going
thing?
to play out on this season. I did watch her on the OG panel. So Rachel Lindsay, former
Mhm.
Bachelorette, she hosted an OG panel with
She
Kyle
did great.
Richards,
She's such a good
Teresa
host.
Giudice, yes, Heather Gay, Robin, Giselle, and Vicky. So that was a fun panel to watch. That one was crowded.
I think I watched a little bit of it because I did hear Heather say, "Well, no, I'm going to tell you," because everyone's like, "Boo," and she's like, "No, no, I'm going to tell you. You'll find out this season." It's like, okay, girl, we know that it's probably just maybe you got a little Botox, got a black eye or something, and it was at your place, and you didn't want to advertise it. I mean, I don't think Jen Shaw beat her up,
I don't
but
know. I don't know. Andy said that he thinks Jen Shaw did it. And then the other theory was like maybe it was a bad Botox thing and she didn't want to say because then it would make her business look
her
bad.
business.
I just hope that she actually tells us the truth because this is ridiculous. And I bought her book, okay? And I still don't
Is it
know.
good? Is it good?
It's okay. I couldn't read all of it. She said she's writing
It
another
doesn't
one. There
appeal to
wasn't
me.
that much about housewives. It was interesting hearing about her divorce. That
Yeah.
one was that she gave like a lot of detail about. So I that was a good chapter.
Is it mostly just about, being an ex-Mormon, being when she was and then leaving the church,
Yeah.
that kind of
When
thing?
she
Okay.
grew up in Colorado and just like growing up with her
Mhm.
family and her siblings, and she's all that kind of stuff. I only read parts of it because I guess I didn't love it that much.
It didn't look good to me. What about Britney's book? Have you read it?
Britney.
Britney Spears.
Oh no, I wouldn't
Speaking
read
of
that.
never?
It's not my like I love her music. I support Free Britney, but that's just not a book I would read.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna listen to the audiobook because but I
That's
feel like
fair.
they spilled everything. Page 6 like spilled everything, all the good parts. So why would you even read it at this point?
Yeah. Page
Sort of
6
thing.
is great.
I know. I love Evan Real. Like he's so fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chicken Head, for the super chat. Happy Tuesday. And my mom is in the chat. Shout out to my mom. You have to meet my mom sometimes.
Ooh.
You would, or did you meet my mom at maybe at
That
one
Zach
of
show.
Zach's? Well, she was at Zach and Adams, but not Zach's
Hmm.
show. But you'll have to meet Nana.
Well,
She's
I'll be at
fantastic.
Zach's next show if you're going to
Me
be
too.
there.
We're
And
both
I'm
gonna
going to be
be
on
there.
stage. He's
Me
putting me up.
too.
So this is
Which
my first time.
segment
He's putting me
are
on
you doing?
stage.
You're gonna be
I'm
so
doing
great.
one with all the gays. There's going to be like some
Mhm.
type of competition. He told me because I saw him over the
Oh,
weekend,
I
and
think I
he
know what
said
it is.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be partners with Evan Real.
Oh
So
my God, so
we're going to
lucky.
try and
You two
win
cuties. Oh, I
the
love that.
redheads.
Well, hopefully I'll be helping to host that one because
Hmm.
last show I had so much fun getting to kind of like co-host with Zach, do stand up and
Hmm.
just see. And I saw you there as well. And so yeah, if you guys aren't already going, Zach Peter is doing Friendsgiving at the Bourbon Room November 19th. I'll be posting more about
Hmm.
it here now that all the names, I think he's dropped all the names of everyone that's going to be there, but he always has like a little surprise.
There's always a surprise.
A
Yeah,
little
I love that he
surprise.
keeps doing the shows. They're all fun.
Me too. I love it too. I'm glad, Mom, I'm glad you got your fireplace fixed. The Minnesota problems. I love it. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about like drama. Like, did you see anything go down drama wise, fights, or also your favorite person, Bravo celebrity you interacted, and maybe your least favorite Bravo celebrity?
And my favorite was seeing Teresa because I just
Yes.
really love her. And I saw her like 4 times this weekend. She knows exactly who I am now. She knows where to find me. She loves me, I think. So
You should do
Teresa is my
a sit
favorite,
down interview with her, do a little
right?
one-on-one
An
with her.
intense one. I would say like
Mhm.
nobody is rude. I would say maybe like Melissa Rivers. She was just like, "Did you wash your hands?" Like just like after I left the
She
bathroom and
said that.
asked her for yeah, after I left the bathroom and I was like, "Oh, I want a selfie." She was like, "Did you wash your hands?" I was just like, "Yes." I don't maybe she's a germaphobe. I'm like, "It's not like I'm touching you. Like we can
You're
do it
like,
from here."
"Okay, Howie Mandel, calm it down over there."
Yeah, I didn't know if she was a germaphobe, but I was like, honestly, we don't even need the picture because I don't even know you that well. So I really only wanted the picture with her because
Yes.
my friend that I was with is a big fan of her. So and then the tea I think was between Vicky and Teddy. That was a really crazy squash that beef where Teddy she just doubles down on it.
She does double. Well, the thing with Teddy, I just feel like her reads, if you can call them that, are very rehearsed. And she
And
kind of
just
looks to the audience
mean.
like, yeah, it's like,
They
girl,
never
you
land.
weren't they never land. You weren't a
Never.
fave like that. Your personality doesn't have it like that. You have to, there's an art form with being able to be like snarky. You know, I always talk about it in stand up is like you have to like compliment them and then give them a little stab and then compliment and give them a little stab. So you have to heal the wound and then stab them again, you know? But
Yeah.
she's coming off like very
So
desperado
unlikable. Just so
and
unlikable.
unlikable.
I know. I
Yes.
wanted to ask her a question. This is what I would have asked her if she was even on a
Okay.
panel, which she wasn't. I would have said, Teddy, as one of the most hated housewives of all time, if not the most hated housewife, what is your reaction to all the backlash? Do you ever read it? Does it ever affect you? And does it ever want
Yeah.
to make you be a better person or kind of work on things? That's what I would say. And that's a respectful question, right?
That is a respectful question. And I
I'm just
wonder,
curious. What do you think of the feedback? Do you ever try and take it in, or does it ever affect you, or do you just truly ignore it because she hasn't changed? She just keeps on
yeah.
being so unlikable.
Yeah, well, we definitely know she doesn't ignore it. And she's one of those people that go, it doesn't even bother me, but it bothers you because you're always talking about it and inadvertently responding to the criticism. But that's a great question. Like, does she ever take any of this criticism and use it like constructively, you know, to
Yeah.
be like a little bit of self awareness? I don't
Mhm.
think she does. I think she's that classic Nepo baby that's just like, whatever.
Oh. I will say though, we did listen to her podcast on the car ride home because me and my friend Jack drove, and I will say that she did get all the exclusive interviews, and
She
she's
did.
not afraid to ask the questions because she's just doesn't care about whatever. Like she's not afraid to ask the invasive questions. So she did get a few good interviews this weekend, which I enjoyed listening to in the car ride home. So I'll give her props.
Yeah, I've heard that from a couple people because even Zach Peter, his live, he was talking about that, how Teddy had her shit there and she was putting stuff out like this. But
Mhm.
again, he made the comment that she does have a whole team of people that can help her do that. So it's a lot easier
Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying
to,
earlier, which
yep.
is, I guess it's frustrating sometimes. Like we're content creators, we're building our platforms
Hmm.
from scratch, we're doing the editing, the social media, and
Yep.
some of these reality stars, they get the following, and then all of a sudden, all these people work for them, and then it's like they get everything. So I kind of like the hustle and bustle. We have to
Yeah.
sometimes work harder to get
Hmm.
success, but it makes it more worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely a hustle. It definitely is a hustle. And there is, yeah, exactly like you're saying, there's some kind of like, you feel proud. Like you're like, oh man, I
Yeah.
built this shit. Like I didn't need
Yeah.
to have all these other people.
Yeah.
Jess is saying, oh my God, Teddy was so rude during the Big Brother finale to almost everyone. It was wild. Yeah, Teddy was on Celebrity Big Brother, if you remember, Zach, the
Yes.
last
With
they had.
Cynthia.
And yeah, I thought she was actually good on Celebrity Big Brother. It was the first show I thought she was kind of good on. But it doesn't surprise me to kind of hear that about Teddy. I mean, that's why I loved Alexander's
Mhm.
question so much is like, why do you keep forcing? How about party wise? Like, were there any, like, what was your favorite party you attended and any craziness happening at the parties?
Yeah, so Thursday night, all the gays, we go to Piranha's. So there's this gay nightclub called Piranha's in Vegas where all the gay content
Hmm.
creators went. So
Fun.
that's kind of where I was all 3 nights. But I did go to James's show Saturday, which was really fun because I was with like my whole friend group. And then there was a Real Housewives of Politics party, which I stopped by for like an hour at the Cosmopolitan. Um, Friday nights, we went to dinner at Vanderpump Paris, me, James, Allie, our friend Jack, and James's mom. And then I went to Piranha's after. So I didn't go to the big BravoCon party. And then all the other like fun parties are with all the housewives, and those are so exclusive, or the NBC party, and I'm not invited to those. So I kind of was just hanging out with my people and then going to the Piranhas.
You should be invited. I feel like if it was the ABC party, you'd be invited because of your Bachelor Nation
Yes.
coverage. But be like, hello,
Yes.
let me in.
Yeah. Well, I got to hang out with Rachel
Oh,
Lindsay a little bit. She was the only bachelorette who was involved in BravoCon. So we love
yeah.
her. But they were all the Bravo celebrities were kind of staying a little bit farther from the strip at the Mandalay Bay and somewhere at the Four Seasons. So I think they kind of wanted to separate them a little bit, where
Okay.
it was just like a little bit separate than where all the other content creators were and the fans were. we were closer to the convention. I mean, I was at the Flamingo and it was like a 5-minute walk to the convention. So it was perfect. It was such a fun weekend. It went so fast. I was so tired getting home at 4 a.m. each night and then waking up by 10. It was just a whirlwind of a weekend. It goes by so fast, you know, and then you're home and you're like, now I have to work. I have to get back to real life. And that's what I was saying earlier is like, I truly really was not posting that much or working this weekend. Like I could have been on it. There was so many opportunities. I could have pulled out my microphone and just started, but I just wanted to live in the moment because you're in Vegas, you know?
Yep. I totally understand that too. And you're with your friends and you're with Allie and it's like, you know, do you want to be in full work mode? You can come back and report about it later. Cause I almost like when creators just come back on and then say, here's what happened. Here's what went down. Kind of like, you know, what you're sharing with us now. And I saw Zach do that. And I saw Up and Adam did like a cool vlog and I like that kind of stuff. And also you don't get the best. I was hearing Up and Adam talking about how, you know, I think he was saying maybe the streaming isn't great. And I think people were saying, even with Kempire, do you know Kempire? So even his streaming stuff was very,
but he wasn't there.
Yeah, he was there. Apparently,
I didn't see him.
What's her name? Caroline Stansbury, is that her name from
Dubai?
Dubai, yeah. Apparently he was attacked by her hair or makeup artist.
Oh.
He did like
I know nothing about this.
I know. I was like, it popped in my algorithm. I clicked. I was like, who was attacking Kempire? And I guess she like just verbally accosted him multiple times. And he was like, I don't know who this woman is.
Interesting. Well, you know what? More power to you if you're working. I love that people are, you know, Bravoholics and content creators who are working on the field and getting that coverage and getting those interviews. I think more on my channel, I focus a lot on Bachelor Nation and Netflix and more competition shows. So for me, Bravo's never been like my number one. So just going as a fan and as a friend of Allie's was just a great experience to truly just live in the moment and not have to worry about that. And that's something else I've learned as I've gotten older and been doing content for 3 to 4 years is that sometimes it's just so much fun to put the phone down. I've spent so much of my life trying to make TikToks and get content that it's just like, sometimes it's just, you get more out of the experience when you're just not recording everything.
Being present.
Like I said, being present. But like I said, more power to the people who are working the whole time from start to finish, because it's like, that is the place to do it. It's BravoCon.
Yeah. Have you ever had a situation at these events, because you go to a lot of them, where someone has maybe approached you because they didn't like something you said as a blogger or content creator about a show or a person? I feel like that's not your style.
I'm so nice. I can't say anything mean about anyone. It's never been my style. That's not in me. So not really, but I definitely have gotten the weird energy where it's like, oh, I don't really want to say hi to you, but I know I have to. I've gotten that a few times. I got that this weekend a couple times. So, you know, sometimes not everyone's going to like you. And I think it's interesting because it's like, we all know each other. And it's like, if you haven't become friends with someone online after you've been following them in mutuals for 2 to 3 years, maybe you're not going to have so much in common when you see them in real life. So it's interesting to see when some conversations fall flat. You know, as long as you're respectful and nice, some conversations can only last 20 seconds, right?
Yeah. And I think there's
I
know, good to see you.
Yeah. Like, you know, but it's like, you know, you have to say hi, but those are always so funny because sometimes it's surprising which conversations fall flat. And then sometimes people are drunk or people are tired, or it's just, you're getting them at the wrong time. So it's a weird world because it's like seeing everyone in real life. And it is fun being at the convention. You just see everyone you follow on the internet, and then everyone you watch on TV, and everyone you read about in the blogs. So it's everything at once. It's crazy.
Yeah. And well, they have that whole saying, like, never meet your heroes, because you might get disappointed and stuff like that, because humans are human. And like you said, you could catch them the wrong time, a bad day. You never know what just happened for them, or maybe they're just assholes, but you put them on this pedestal. So sometimes it's not true. And sometimes you can meet people, but I know a lot of people will talk to me about certain comedians. They'll be like, oh, I love this person, but they were so rude. I'm like, yeah.
Because I guess if you're seeing someone do their art, they're performing, right? And then you see them when they're not on, right? It could be a very different experience.
It could be very different. There's a lot of people where, and I think if you've been doing a long time too, and you might be, again, tired, you're off stage. But I do think it is, just in my opinion, and I'm nobody, but it's important to be kind to people who show up to see you and want to show you love. I would never be like annoyed. And I've seen comedians who are like annoyed they have fans. And I'm like, That's an asshole move, but
I mean, anyone that like comes up to me, or it's just so exciting. It's like, wait,
me
you follow
too.
me? You
Yes,
follow
that's
me? But I understand,
yes.
for the Bravo celebrities, they're exhausted, especially when they're
Yeah.
getting recognized at night after the convention's over. They're just
Mhm.
tired of taking pictures, but it's just part of the job, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and you're getting paid to be there, so
Mhm.
it's okay. Tammy has a question. Tammy says, "I live in Charleston. Did you meet or see any panels from Southern Charm? I just started watching it, and I'm kind of obsessed, and I like anger watch
Me
it a
too.
lot of times. So, did you
I'm
see
on
any of
episode
them? Or
4. I saw Austin, I saw Craig, Shep. I went to the Watch What Happens Live where it was Charming House Rules. So I got to see all them on
Mm,
stage. I don't think I love Madison LaCroix. I met a lot of them last year at
I
BravoCon
like
really
Madison
quickly.
too. Hmm.
Leva, I saw her this year. I'm so into Southern Charm. I'm on episode 4 of this season, so I'm a little bit behind, but I'm definitely gonna catch up and keep watching. I didn't
I
go to the
know.
Southern Charm panel, but I'm gonna watch it on Peacock.
There's so much going down on Southern Charm. So you said I don't get, and maybe I know we got to wrap up here. I don't get the appeal of Austin or Shep. I don't understand how these you get so
Oh.
many women. I just don't
I
get
think
it.
Austin's hot. Austin's
Do
kinda
you?
hot. Mhm.
See, I guess the height, and I know that
Oh.
the Call Her Daddy podcast, Alex, she was on Watch What Happens Live, and she didn't really know much about Austin, but she's like, yeah, the height maybe, but just your whole aura that I'm picking up, like you're
Yeah.
just a
Oh,
fuck
because
boy,
they
you
were
know?
from Watch What Happens yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch that. I love how she called him out.
I love her. I love how just honest she is with shit and
Me
stuff like
too.
that. Well, Zach, this has been so fun just getting to like chat Kiki with you and catch up, Zachary,
Yes.
because it's been like a while since we were able to, and I'll be seeing you November 19th. And you guys
Yes.
definitely go subscribe to Zachary Reality and go follow on TikTok. You have a big TikTok following. You're like
I'm
killing
trying to
it.
get to 500,000 followers, people. I'm almost there. I need all the help I could
What?
get.
Get
But
him there.
please follow me on TikTok and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I do recaps every single
Yes.
week. I do lots of interviews. I just had on Aaron Clancy from Bachelor Nation. I had on Shake from House of Villains last week. And you can check out all my interviews with the whole cast of House of Villains there. So yeah, follow me, subscribe to my YouTube and TikTok. And I can't wait to see you in a couple of weeks. And I'm sure I'll be
I
back, especially when
know.
Vanderpump comes back on.
Yes, you have to
I'll be
come
back
back,
here and we'll chat
please.
all about it. So I'm excited for the
Yes,
new
because it's gonna
season.
be such a good season. Oh, did you get any from Allie? Like, did she say this is gonna be a good season?
Mhm.
Did she
It's
kind of
gonna
give
be a
you the
good
like,
season.
it's gonna be okay. Okay. I know a
It's
lot of
gonna be a
stuff is gonna
really
be
good
going down.
season.
I
Yeah.
can't wait. All right, you guys. Don't forget to hit that like on your way out. Again, go follow Zachary Reality everywhere, Instagram, TikTok. Let's help him get to 500,000 on the Tiki Taki, and obviously subscribe to him here on YouTube.
Thank
And
you.
we'll have you back very soon. Hang out right here,
Mhm.
Zachary. I'm gonna do the outro, but I
For
want to
sure.
thank you backstage and thank you guys so much for I'm sorry I didn't get to all your comments in the chat, but definitely put them in the comment section later because Zachary and I go back and we read them and we really love
Mhm.
hearing from you guys. Follow me if you haven't already. Come back at 2 p.m. We're going to have Ryan Bailey talking about his BravoCon experience, Vanderpump Rules, all the things, and then Big Brother tonight. Okay, and always remember to enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Bye, guys.
If you like what you see, come and get it.